Well, this is something that I haven't done in a very long time. This is weird. Hello everybody, welcome back to a Royal Reader. My name is Sanidra and today I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of a life update as well as my August wrap up. So in case you guys didn't realize, I took a bit of a break from YouTube as well as sort of just not being as active on Twitter and Instagram, and that is because anxiety. It's a real thing. I sort of had a very bad experience with my anxiety. It flared up really bad and I was in a really rough spot for the last couple of weeks, but I can safely say that I am on the other end of it. I'm starting to feel more like myself. Not a very good time, and I was just really struggling with my self-confidence and just I didn't like how I looked, and obviously being in front of the camera and taking pictures, although it is just a picture of a book, it still made me feel very self-conscious, and I was comparing myself to a lot of the other amazing creators here. And Louis has found a pen that he wants to play with. So yes, it was just not a good time for me, and so I took a break and I'm feeling better. So I am back now. I also had a bit of a creative slump with filming videos, so if you guys have any ideas of like videos that you'd like to see from me, please leave them down in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys want to see from me. Yes, please do leave them down below in the comments. So yes, that being said, August was not the greatest month for me, even though it was my 23rd birthday. I think I got into a bit of a reading slump, not gonna lie, and then my anxiety happened within the last week or so of August, so August wasn't the best month. Maybe next year will be better, said everybody at the end of 2019. Yeah, I didn't read a lot. I only read 4 books, I think. They weren't all the best. And I think some of these are going to be a bit of a shock to everybody. So yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into the books that I read in the month of August. So obviously first up, I read The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, I believe is how you pronounce it. I have a full dedicated reading vlog to this, so if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts and reactions to this, then please go ahead and check that out. I believe it's this side the thingy pops up at. So yes, now this is I don't want to say fantasy based, but it does involve magic. It is mainly a military war involved fantasy, adult high fantasy I guess you could say, based around the Sino-Japanese War, I believe, that happened between China and Japan. The lovely Tiffany over at Read by Tiffany, I think, has a thread that I will leave linked below, and she explains further about the inspiration and the history behind what R.F. Kuang was writing about with this book. So basically the Poppy War follows our main character called Rin. She is from the farm district. She decides that she wants to attend this really fancy military school called Singard, and in order to get a spot in Singard, you have to go through this intense like exam process, and then once you're there, you then have to go through a bunch of training, learning about like strategies and like war stuff, and like learning how to fight people and all those types of things. And then at the end of that, they have an evaluation process where if you don't make the cut, you're out. So basically we follow Rin, who doesn't come from a background of any type of scholar stuff at all. The district that she is from is very poor and is filled with a lot of like drug dealers and things like that, and so it is a massive shock that she actually gets into Singard and is then training at the academy. That is part 1 of the book. The second part of the book follows the storyline as we go further into the war-based plot of the book. I'm going to warn you now, this book heavily involves political intrigue and military backgrounds, I guess you could say. A lot of the discussions that they have when they are not involving talk about the magic system that is somehow involved, they are mainly talking about military attacks and battle strategies and things like that. So if that does not please you, and if you don't have a brain that is like wired enough to be able to understand what they are exactly talking about, you probably will struggle with it. I know that I sort of struggled with it a little bit, trying to understand what they were talking about, but it's a war heavy book. I mean, the title itself pretty much explains it. It is called The Poppy War, and so the second half of the book ventures into the war that has been, you know, mentioned throughout the beginning of the book. So that happens, and just a whole whirlwind of things happen, and the second half of the book is just insane. There are so many trigger warnings for this book. R.F. Kuang does not shy away from the realities of war whatsoever. So if you are sensitive to any type of gruesome details of like body mutilation, murder, child abuse, sexual assault, rape, drug abuse, drug smuggling, sex trafficking, racist remarks, literally everything you could possibly think of for a trigger warning, it's in this book. And I feel like not a lot of people mention that. Like, they say, yes, this book is really triggering, so be careful, but they don't go into detail of what exactly the triggers are. And I feel like that was a bit of a shock for me when I read certain chapters, like chapter 21 or 22, I can't remember which one it is. If you have read this book, or if you know anybody who's read this book, I am sure you will know what chapter 21 or 22 is. Just be warned. So that being said, I did only give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I still don't know how I feel about it. The fact that no one spoke about how many triggers was in this sort of made me get triggered myself, and so I didn't really like that, and I think that sort of pulled me away from the story a bit. I did have a few moments where I literally had to put the book down before I had an anxiety attack. So yes, and I also found that I couldn't concentrate with how much military talk was going on. That being said, I am definitely intrigued in the story and how the characters are going to continue. There is a bit of like a found families type of trope that we see towards the end of the book, and I do really enjoy the characters and the arcs that they have throughout the book. So I am definitely intrigued in seeing where the characters are going and how the end of the book is going to lead to the next one. So yes, that being said, I did only give it 3 stars. Please, please, please be warned before going into reading this book. I do not want anybody to have the same reactions that I did. So yes, please just have a look, check the trigger warnings. I will leave my Goodreads review that I have down below where I list as many as the trigger warnings that I could possibly think of. So yes, please go ahead and check that out. I do not want anybody to have a reaction like I did. So yes. So that was the first book that I read. The next book that I finished was a massive, massive disappointment for me, unfortunately. The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. If you guys watched, I believe, my latest reading vlog, you will see me rant about this book non-stop. This is supposed to be, it was marketed as a Les Mis retelling, and I really disagree with that. As a fan of Les Mis, specifically the musical, I have not read the book, but of the musical, it just wasn't it. So in this story, we follow our main character Nina, or Eponine, and she is thrust into the world of the like the Court of Miracles and the guilds that live in the court. So there's only 9 guilds, and they range from like the assassins to scribes, like people who write down everything that happens within the court. Just there's a whole bunch of people, and she enters this court to find her sister, who has been sold to like the whorehouse basically by their father. So she asks to join the Guild of Thieves in order to try and somehow rescue her sister. That's like the first part of the story. The second part of the story, we follow Eponine and Etty, yeah, Cosette, who is actually her cousin, but they refer to each other as sisters. Cosette is under the same fate as Eponine's older sister, that she's been threatened with getting sold to the whorehouse, essentially. And so she takes Cosette to one of the other guilds and tries to get her in that guild. And then there's like involvement of the royal family, and like somehow this book is so confusing and I hated it so much. I'm sorry to anybody who liked this. I really struggled with trying to understand what the author was attempting to do. It was almost like she just took the characters' names from Les Mis and sort of just made them into what she wants. She didn't exactly follow the Les Mis story, which you don't have to do for retellings, but like none of this made sense. And like the whole last like 50 pages of the book was almost taken directly from Les Mis, which didn't make any sense at all. And just I really hated the main character in this. She like just used people's like affections towards her in like very manipulative ways, and just this way too many time skips in this. It was just really hard to follow. So many of the like plot twists that happened were just really hard to understand, and I didn't like this. I gave this a 2 out of 5. The only reason why it has that second star is because there was actually, you know, 1 or 2 lines towards the last like 3 pages of the book that actually referenced Les Mis, the musical. So yeah, I really didn't like this. I'm so sorry if you do. I couldn't. I'm sorry. Okay, next we have the other book that I really did not like, unfortunately, and that is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This... okay. So in the story, we follow our main character, Elizabeth, who is a librarian in training at the... where is she? What library is it? It's some sort of library. So basically in this world we have these books that can in fact have personalities of their own, and when certain books, I don't know, like grow older, they can also become evil, I guess you could say, and they can turn into monsters which are called malefics. And basically she is in training to become one of the people who learn how to like keep those evil books at bay, learn how to like just not destroy them, but like, you know, keep them at bay, lock them up, keep everybody else protected and stuff like that. The main point of our story begins when Elizabeth is accused of a crime that happened at the library she works at, and somebody is killed by a book. Now she is then being taken away from the library by a sorcerer called Nathaniel and taken away to be trialed because she did end up killing the book, which is a very bad thing apparently because it will lose sorcerer's powers or something like that. So she's under trial by all the sorcerers. Things go a little bit awry as she is taken to the trial and ends up uncovering a whole series of shebangs that end up having the world at risk. So she ends up having to try and save the world along with Nathaniel and his lovely little servant man Silas. So this book I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I don't know what it is about this book, but it just dragged on so much for me. I was just like, okay, this could have ended like 17 chapters ago. It did not need to be this long. I found the romance to be very unbelievable. I don't want to say it was instant, but it sort of felt that way. Like all of a sudden the just like normal attraction that they had was suddenly like, you know, multiplied tenfold, and all of a sudden they liked each other, and it was just like, and yeah, it just, I don't know, I really didn't like it, and I'm beginning to wonder if Margaret Rogerson's writing just isn't for me, because I really struggled to try and get through her first book, An Enchantment of Ravens, which I actually DNF'd because it was beginning to make me slumpy. So I'm beginning to wonder if Margaret Rogerson just isn't a writer for me, which really sucks because her covers are incredible. Like, I am obsessed with this cover, and I said that beforehand. But just the story, the characters, the only character that I liked was Silas. And yeah, if Margaret Rogerson decided to write a spin-off series involving just Nathaniel and Silas, whew, I would be all over that. But like everybody else, I could not care about. I'm sorry. I know this book is a lot of people's favorites. I really didn't like it. It dragged on so much. Like, there was so many chapters that could have been cut or could have been shortened. There were so many like, oh, it's gonna end. Oh no, it's not gonna end. Oh, it's gonna end. No, it's not gonna end. That continued for like a good like last half chunk of this book. Like, I got through, like, you know, after 100 pages and went, okay, well, what the heck happens now if we already know who the bad guy is and like what we need to do to stop him? What the heck is happening in the last like 300 pages of this book? So yeah, I'm sorry, I really didn't like this. Please don't hate me. Let's see if I spill my coffee all over the floor again. The next book that I finished was, in fact, A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is a Hades and Persephone sort of modernized retelling. I really enjoyed this. I sort of felt like this was a sort of guilty read pleasure in a way. The writing was okay, the characters were alright. It sort of read like a Wattpad story, if you guys know what I mean, when we all used to read those sort of Twilight fan insert books that, you know, maybe we sometimes didn't write ourselves. But anyway, so this follows Persephone, and she is living in, where is she living in? She's living in like the modern world, I guess you could say, where everybody knows about the gods and stuff like that. The gods live among the humans, and she is starting an internship at a newspaper, I think. It's either a newspaper or a magazine, I can't remember. And she gets invited by her friends to go to a nightclub that Hades owns, and she's sort of like, oh gosh, no, I can't go there. My mother would kill me if she found out that I was going anywhere near a god. Because no one actually knows that she exists. Everybody knows that Demeter had a daughter, but they don't know, you know, who she is. And so Persephone needs to keep that a secret in order for her to actually stay in the human world. Fast forward to when she's at the nightclub, she meets Hades, but she doesn't realize that it's him, and ends up playing a game of, I think it's cards, or she plays poker with him, and they sort of ask each other a question here and there, and ends up getting herself caught in a bit of a deal with Hades. So that's where our story starts. I'm not going to explain too much more than that, because I feel like if you just go into this not knowing much, you'll probably have a better time. That being said, the characters are sort of meh. They're sort of here and there. They're very two-dimensional. I want to say the only character who's really thought out well is probably Hades. I do know that the author Scarlett St. Clair has actually written either a novella or another story that's actually written from Hades' perspective, and I'm really excited to actually read that, because I feel like I'll probably enjoy this one that one a lot more than I did this one. This one I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was sort of like a, you know, a guilty pleasure read. Like, I wasn't reading it to gain any, like, you know, like, new awakening, or, you know, I was reading it for the prose, or I was reading it for the content. I was just reading it because I love Hades and Persephone. They are my ultimate favorite characters. I will literally try and read anything I can get my hands on about them. And so, yeah, I was just having a good old time, you know. Those are the books that I read in the month of August. Like I said, I didn't read much, but I was also not having the best time. And yeah, so not the best reading month either in terms of books. I do apologize if, like, you know, I happen to ruin your favorite books. I'm so sorry. I did not like them. I'm sorry, please don't hate me. So let's hope that September is going to be a better reading month for me. Is it September? Yes. Let me know what books you guys read in the month of August. Did you guys have a much better reading month than me? Did you have a worse reading month than me? If so, I am so sorry for you, and I pray that September is going to be better for you. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you are all surviving the pandemic from wherever you are. My friends in America, my heart goes out to you. I really hope you guys are staying safe and that you guys are doing everything that you can to keep each other happy and safe. To everybody who is being affected by the fires that are currently happening over in America, I am so sorry. And just know that my heart goes out to you guys, and I hope that you are all staying safe. And yeah, we can get through this. We only have a few months left of 2020, so yeah, we can make it through the end, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys in another video later on.